In this video, I'm going to show you how to use racks as storage locations for your inventory flow items. So I'll drag and drop a rack resource from the Fixed Resources library, and I'm going to store it at the end of the model. It by default comes with 10 bays and 10 levels. The bays are the columns as you go across, and the levels are, of course, are the stories on the inventory rack. And typically what happens is that you use the bays and the columns to represent your item types and one of your labels, or you may choose two labels, depending on how you want to store your items. So when I double click on this rack, I'm going to switch over to the size table menu, and I'm going to adjust this for the right number of bays and levels for this simulation. I can either delete some of the bays down here, or I can adjust the number of bays, two item types, three labels, so two types of bikes, three types of tires, and I can apply that basic setting, and you'll see that the rack has been adjusted. And I need to connect this up. So I need to connect the rack to my simulation model. And on the very first tab of the rack, I can tell the flow items where to go here. So place in the bay, and again, the bays are the columns, and there's two of them. So place in bay by expression, I want the item types to go in there. So read whatever item type you have and put item type 1s in bay 1, put item type 2s in bay 2. So I'm just going to use that get item type of item code. And here, I bet you can guess what I'm going to use. By expression, I'm going to say get label num. And the label that I'll pick is tire size. Apply. Okay. So what happens now when I reset and run this model and speed it up to make some action happen, I'll see that if I zoom in, I can guess that since this is level 1, 2, and 3, and this is item type 1, item type 2, that this pink box here is going to be item type 1, tire size 3. And I can see, since I have it highlighted in yellow here, I can see the properties. Item type 1, tire size 3 over here. Similarly, this purple guy, when I select it, will be item type 2, tire size 2. I can tell that from where it went in the rack. So the other thing that I can do here is I can put a dwell time on this rack. So if I go under the very first tab, rack dwell time by expression, right now it's set to not sit in there at all. Because it's not connected to a sink, however, it does sit in there. When I add a sink, watch what happens. Reset, run. We don't even see anything go through this rack because there's no dwell time. So if I change this to 100, then the items will flow in here for about 100 seconds each when I run it, and then eventually they'll leave. See how they're coming and going. So this can be used for if there is a certain amount of time we want to move our items for, if there's an expiry related to a product, that can be very helpful.